I wanted to interview Stephen because he has been one of my Amazon mentors, and he also understands the benefit of multiple streams of income. And as you know, as a stay-at-home mom or a WOM that works from home and provides services, I'm also an affiliate marketer. And that is another reason why Stephen is somebody that I like to share with my community, because he understands the benefit of internet marketing and affiliate marketing. So I promote all of his products. And these products are, he has one called Married to Reselling, and this is actually my favorite guide that he has. Him and Rebecca, his wife, both co-wrote this book together, and they talk about what they do. So say you have a mate that isn't agreeable with you selling and reselling. She gives you solutions in there, and this is like my favorite chapter with Rebecca, where she gives solutions on how to win your mate over so that they're okay with you doing your reselling, and so they understand that it is truly a real business. Then the next guide that I like, which is one of Stephen's most recent guides, is the guide. Stephen, go ahead and tell me the title of that one because I left it out. I just shortened it.
The most recent one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's called The Reseller's Guide to a Year in FBA, a month-by-month guide to a profitable Amazon business.
See, I shortened it to FBA guide. But this guide, anybody who is selling on Amazon, if you're a new seller or even a seasoned seller, you're going to want this guide because it's a great reference guide to go back to. If I would have had this guide when I first started selling on Amazon, I would have known everything to expect. I would have been prepared. I would have been able to do a little more. I could have done the research without it, but this guide is so outlined and so specific that who wants to spend hours researching when they can just go ahead and reach for, it's going to be your Amazon Bible, okay? There. That's my whole point. And then the board games, which you are about to release a new version of this, or an updated version. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I wrote the Reseller's Guide to Board Games about a year and a half ago, and it's done really well, really helped out a lot of people. But as with anything in life, I continue to learn more. I have readers from the original version of the book email me with more tips that they've learned and have applied and have found success in. And so, I'm updating the book. I'm adding 2 new chapters. I'm adding a bunch of new bonuses. I actually have a bonus that is an entire mini book about puzzles, and it's called The Reseller's Guide to Puzzle Profits, because what's the one thing you always see next to board games at a thrift store, garage sale, and even in retail stores? Puzzles are right there next, and there's puzzles that are profitable, even used puzzles. And a lot of people think, I'm not selling used puzzles, it is too much time. But for the right puzzles that you find, there are some puzzles that are worth the time to see if all the pieces are there. And I have shortcuts and tricks to be able, you don't have to put the whole puzzle together, you don't have to, even count the pieces. In fact, counting the pieces is a bad idea, and I tell you why in the little mini book that's a new bonus for the Reseller's Guide to Board Games book. So there's that, and I've got a board game notebook that's going to come along. I've got a secret bonus that I'm not telling anybody about, because only those who actually buy the book get it, because it's so secret. If I even told you what it was, people would be copying it, and I just want to keep it a secret. So there's like I said, 2 new chapters in the book, and each chapter has updated information. In the first guide, I had 25 board game bolos to be on the lookout for. In the update, I'm doubling it to 50 awesome board games that you need to be looking for. In fact, I got an email the other day from one of the readers saying, I'm so glad you told me about this one board game to be looking for, because before reading your book, I would have just thought it was some old, board game from the 80s or something, and I wouldn't have even looked at it. But he bought it for $4 and sold it for $200, and he was thinking me up and down about that. And so so I'm excited about that, re-releasing the Reseller's Guide to board games. And the cool thing is every time I update any of the books that I write or put together, anytime I update it, anyone who's ever purchased it in the past gets a free copy of the new update, free copy of any bonuses that are added. They get everything added on additionally for free as a part. So it's a lifetime ownership, situation if you buy anything. So the people who bought the board game before, they're getting all the updates no matter what. So I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to help out a lot of people.
And that's going to go, the launch date for that is going to be September 14th, right?
Right, yeah. The launch date is going to be September 14th. I'm actually, for 1 week only, keeping the original price. Even though I've added all this stuff to it, I'm actually keeping the original price of $39 for 1 week. And then on the 21st, after the 21st, Monday the 21st is over with, the book is going up in price. And so, best time to get it would be between September 14th and the 21st, because you'll get the best price and you'll get all the updated stuff. And so, now is the time to get it.
Okay, and then going back to the Reseller's Guide for FBA for the year, one of the things that I really liked is that you put at the end of the book, or I think you even put it at each end of each chapter too, I'm not sure, but I remember this specifically. You give people your email address, you open the door for them, you tell them if there's something that you left out or anything that they wanted to share with you, they could email you and share that with you, and then you will also update that book the same way too. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the way that the Year in FBA book is formatted, it's a chapter for each month of the year. And so I spill every single thing that I do each month, all the sales that are going on during that month, what to expect, the deadlines for Amazon, everything that you need to do during that month. I encourage people who buy the book to read the month, to read a month ahead of time, and then to read the month that they're on right now, just to kind of get a refresher, to know everything that they're doing. But yeah, at the end of each chapter, I say, hey, if you have things going on, things that you've found, either sales in stores that happen every time around this year, certain things that you've benefited from during this month, email me, let me know. And I've already had some people do that. And at the beginning of each year, at the beginning of January 1st or sometime around there, I'll be updating the book with all the new things that people have added. Another one of the bonuses with the Year in FBA purchase is private access to a Facebook group that no one else has access to. And in that Facebook group, we're constantly sharing things that are going on that only the book buyers get to see. So there's not only just reminders of things that are going on each month, but people are also saying, hey, I've, add this to the book, and so we are. And so again, same thing with the Reseller's Guide to Board Games. If someone purchases the Reseller's Guide to a Year in FBA, every time a new year comes around and the book is updated, they get that free of charge. And it's just going to get better from here.
Great. And then the other thing, tell me, okay, so I told everybody my favorite part of Married to Reselling because of the fact that my ex-husband was kind of like, he felt what I was doing was not profitable, or he just thought it was kind of like a joke. It wasn't a real business. So that's why that chapter that Rebecca wrote was my favorite chapter. So you tell me what your favorite part is, or what your inspiration was just for that book too.
Yeah, well, I mean, the book was inspired because, like many resellers, most of our time on our computer when we're not inputting inventory into Amazon is spent on Facebook groups, Facebook pages, people, interacting with other resellers, learning new things. And I kept seeing a trend of people saying, either my husband, all he does is help me bring in bags from the car, and that's all he does. And other people are saying, my wife thinks I'm wasting my time and I should go get a real job. And other people saying, anybody have ways to include their kids in their business? And other people saying things like, I wish I could find a way to understand the difference between my business budget and my family budget, because they're kind of overlapping and it's getting a little muddy. And so, my wife and I got together and we saw all these people with all these concerns, and we were like, there's a need out there for a guide to help, couples come together, get on the same page, work together. And so we started just to brainstorm and answer all those questions and put the book together. We have, a whole chapter on the dreaded B word, budget, that most people try to, run away from. But we talk about our personal budget, and we talk about our business budget and how we're able to keep them separate and be able to do it successfully. We have a whole chapter on involving your kids with your business, how to do age-appropriate things for your kids, and we give you ideas. We actually even have a chapter for the single reseller who isn't married, but there's a whole group of people who are single and reselling that could benefit from some of the things, because I was once a single reseller, so I think there's a lot to learn with that.
There is. That was my dog Halo. She was saying hi. Yeah, and I think, like I said, that one chapter, because I know some people, one of the things that you talked about in there too is because some people, their dream is like, oh, this would be a great business for me and my husband to do together, or me and my wife to do together, or me and my partner to do together. And the partner or your wife or your husband are like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So
yeah, and we discuss that in the book. We talk about, is it a good idea for you to even work with your spouse? And is it a good idea to there's certain couples that you teaching your spouse how to do something might not be the best thing to do. And so we talk about the right ways to do it if you decide to do it, and what to do if you decide not to.
Right. So as you can see, this is why I had to interview Stephen. Like I said, you all know I'm an affiliate marketer, but just sitting here listening, you've known I've gone through each of the products that we're talking about. I love them. I wouldn't recommend them to you if I didn't think that they would be beneficial to you and help you in some way, shape, or form, like they have helped me. The marriage reselling, I think is my favorite one, even though it didn't save my marriage, but it wasn't supposed to do that. That was just me being a cute and funny joke, but sometimes I'm not funny. But it did open my eyes to seeing maybe how he was seeing things, and how if I did things a little differently, maybe it would bring him around. So if you're in that position where your spouse is kind of like negative Nelly, or not understanding what you do, maybe you should, not maybe, you should grab this book, read it, and then put into practice some of the things that are in it that would pertain to that, so that your mate can actually see that you're not playing around and that you're not wasting family funds, that you are actually working towards a goal. And in the book, it does step you out into, it does help. What I'm saying, stuttering and saying at the same time, is that it walks you through those steps. There we go. Eleanor found her words. So it walks you through those steps. So I really recommend that one. That is definitely my favorite one. And I think it's because it's also my favorite too, because Rebecca co-wrote it with you. And yeah. I love that example that you and her have together. There's only a couple, you and Rebecca, and then Jessica and Cliff, and then, how am I going to, Scooter, and, what's Scooter's wife's name? How am I forgetting her name? But anyways, there's only two or three married couples that I've seen do this successfully, selling together as a team and working together as a team in this business, selling on Amazon. I'm sure there's more, but that's kind of, that's what my example, and I loved it. I love that example. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to end this because I promised Stephen I would keep this at an hour. And thank you so much for spending that hour with me and sharing your thoughts and answering my questions all about Amazon. And I hope that your story and my story and the other people that I'm going to be sharing with everybody's story will help other people see that they can do this too. And if they want to get out of that, it's a bad letter. It's a bad word as far as I'm concerned. JOB.